Hi, I'm the Sad Panda, and this is going to be, well, this is not going to be another episode of I Read This Should You. More of those are coming. That is a fact. Don't worry about that. But one of my viewers left me a comment, and he said that he binge read Supergene to 1,300 chapters, and he loved the recommendation, and I was like, dang, I forgot how good the first couple hundred chapters of Supergene is. And so, in my reading of this comment and me replying to this comment, because you guys know I do that, I was like, man, I gotta reread that. Because there's a couple things that happen in the first 500 chapters of the story that doesn't happen anymore. Black and white boxing is one of the things that I really love about this story. It's like a game that they play. It's like a fighting game, but the idea is it's like rock paper scissors, but to the nth degree. So the idea is that you black and white boxing is like when you go to punch somebody, right? If you put your full force into it, it's a black fist, right? And if they block it, they get a point. But if you don't put your full force into it, it's a white fist. And if they block it, they lose it, or you gain a point. Or if they think it's a white fist that you're not going to put your full force into and they don't block it, you get a point. It's just like that. And one of my favorite things about this game, right, is that our main character, Hansen, is a absolute legend when it comes to assassination techniques and reading your opponent. Because as an assassin, you need to know a lot of things about your opponent. You need to be able to read their body language, read their muscle tenses. He's really good at black and white boxes is what I'm trying to say. And the thing is he called himself the Black Fist Emperor, right, in the story. It's one of the things, because it's like a computer game, right, that you play as a tournament, but instead of actually hitting the other person, the computer, this is super far in the future, so it's super good at analytics and stuff. It can read exactly the tenses of your body, the techniques you're using to get an accurate representation of if it's a black fist or if it's a white fist, and vice versa if you're blocking, right? If it's a white fist or a black fist, it can tell very well if you move or try to block or whatever. Depending on what fist it is, it can tell you what kind of fist it was, right? So he calls himself the Black Fist Emperor, which the idea is that he always uses black fists, right? So he always uses his full force. He always just explodes with power. But the thing is, as an assassin, he has a couple special techniques. I forget Yinyang Pull. I forget what the exact move is, right? But what it does is it lets him circulate his energy, right, without using his full force. So the idea is that he goes to punch you, and all of your instincts, if he was going to punch you, would say that it's a white fist. There's no shot that it's a black fist. You can tell by the way he's moving, how slow it is, the amount of force. You can see his muscles tense, and you're like, it's a white fist. So you obviously don't block. But then your character in the game gets exploded because of how powerful the fist actually was. And that's his trick, right? He can trick people into thinking that he's weaker than he is, which is a huge part of the story in the beginning. Him just not telling the truth about how strong he is. When he gets into the Black Hawk Academy, right? He has a fitness index of well over 10, probably 11-ish. So all of his stats, his speed, his sense, and all that stuff is about 11. But, he doesn't want everyone to know that he has that, because he has this special ability to get sacred blood animals with the little black pearl. If you remember in my review of the story, he gets this black pearl that he can feed to monsters. It'll let them level up to sacred blood monsters, and he could kill them, eat them, and he can get sacred blood points, which is really lucky because obviously sacred blood points are hard to get. A single sacred blood creature could kill tens of people before you even kill it, and then you have to share the meat with other people. You might get a single sacred blood geno point from that because of how big sacred blood creatures normally are. But when he feeds this black pearl to a small creature, it doesn't get bigger, it just gets stronger. But even then, it's still as weak as it once was. It just has the potential of a sacred blood creature, which makes it a sacred blood creature, which means if he kills it, he eats it, he gets sacred blood points, which of course helps his fitness index go up and up and up. That's the whole thing of the early story, right? So the reason why I like this idea, right, it shows Hansen's skill in other aspects than just than just like killing monsters, because he's good at that. We like, if you read the story, right, you know he's good at that. He's very smart. He's a smart character and all that. But I like the idea that he's like bluffing other people that are also very good at that. Like, you find out later in the story that he's comes from like I forget what like the family's name is called, but he comes from like a very powerful family that has like a dagger technique that is never missing. You cannot miss with it. If you know the technique and you have the Geno solution, which if you know a sacred Geno art like that, you need special Geno solution so your body doesn't like deteriorate from the inside. But if you have that Geno solution and you do that, right, you can't miss. The idea is that when you strike once, it's actually not like what the person sees the strike. It's like your hand like stabbing them, and they can block that. That's easy. They can see that. But in reality, your hand is so fast that it's actually like your hand creates a shadow right when you stab, and you're so fast that actually your hand is in the shadow and you stab them where they don't think you're going to stab them. That's the whole thing. And eventually, Hansen, he can block this. Like, he's so good at judgment and this kind of stuff that he can block that, but that's far and few between. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about black and white boxing. And of course, Hansen wins this like tournament for black and white boxing, and he's known very well as like the Black Fist Emperor and all that. And I love that. I love the idea of like rock, paper, scissors to the extreme. Because, right, I'm good at rock, paper, scissors. Anyone that knows me knows that I could probably beat them in rock, paper, scissors like 8 out of 10 times. I'm pretty good at rock, paper, scissors. But I would never beat Hansen. I couldn't even imagine. Because everyone in here probably could beat me 1,000 times before I even beat them once in rock, paper, scissors. And they can't even tell what he's doing. And I think that's awesome. Now, black and white boxing isn't the main thing that I wanted to talk about here. The main thing I wanted to talk about is a game called Hand of God. So the whole idea of Hand of God is like, you ever play the game Osu or like Guitar Hero or anything? It's a rhythm game where you have to like hit the notes when they appear, right? That's the whole idea. This is like that to like the nth degree, to the millionth degree. It's so much more difficult because it's designed to test your reflexes and to test like your eyesight, and the versus mode is to beat the other person and to win. Like, so your goal is to get 100 points in the versus mode. And so the whole idea is like you have your hands out, and like the game can only see your hands. It's not a whole body game. But the idea is that when something appears, you're supposed to move your body and like press these lights that appear on your side. You can also reach across and hit the lights on the other side, so you can deny them points and gain more points, right? And the first person to 100 wins. Now, Hansen, when he first plays this game, he has the wrong idea. So there's this character, his name is Gambler, that shows him a ability with a dagger, right? Hansen, we know, he's an archer and he uses daggers. He's like an assassin, so he's like that kind of like archetype. This guy named Gambler, he has this technique with the dagger called sleeve blade. So the idea is that he can use his muscles in his arm and his body to like send the knife like into his, like, not into his body, but like into his jacket and back out without like moving his hand at all. So like he can use, like, physically he can manipulate his muscles at any like point of his arm. And obviously this is hard to do. And it takes years of dedication. It's like a specific art from his family, but he teaches Hansen this for porn. That's not what you need to know. All you need to know is that Hansen gave this guy some porn, and he's like, all right, well, I can't get it anywhere else, so here's this technique that our family uses. Don't know. It's funny. Anyways, Hansen is told by Gambler that you need to you need to complete the first level of Hand of God. He doesn't say the first level, he just says you need to complete Hand of God. That's like his like to practice, right? Because you use a lot of muscles in like your arms and stuff, and you're moving really fast, and you have to use your like senses to see the lights and all this. So Hansen, he misunderstands because there's like multiple different like sections, right? There's the unevolved section, which at this point in time he's unevolved, right? So he hasn't evolved yet. So he would normally play in the unevolved section. There's the evolved section, there's the surpasser section, there's the demigod section. And now we never see the demigod section, and I don't think we see the surpasser section either, because we don't really go back to Hand of God from what I remember. But like he plays in the unevolved section, and he beats that easy. Why? Because he has a special ability called Jade Skin, and of course I didn't talk about this earlier in my summary of it because I would have been too far into the story. But Hansen gets this ability called Jade Skin, and the whole idea of it is like a cooling of the body, and like it kind of like cools your mind. It like lets you manipulate your muscles better. It's like just like a vamp, like an upgrade to your brain, right? And it helps you with stamina as well. So like it cools your body. So if you are like fatigued and you start running this technique in your body, it would like lessen the fatigue, not to the point where you would be fine again, but to the point where you could still fight. Like if you're in a long fight and you use Jade Skin, you could probably last longer than someone that specializes in stamina, which does happen. But anyways, back to this Jade Skin. So he beats the unevolved section super easy, and he goes into the evolved section, which makes him much better than the unevolved people, right? And so he goes in, and this is where one of the things that we meet, one of my favorite, best girl of the whole story, my opinion, except for Boer. But I'm not going to talk about Boer because that's way far away. But Ji Ren, I believe that's how you pronounce it. She is part of the Hand of God Society in the Blackhawk School, and so she's very good at Hand of God, and she accuses him of cheating when they first meet because he's obviously he likes Hand of God. He plays he played the single player a lot, so that's why he could face like the evolved section and stuff, because like in the verses you have to go, because it reads your body and it can tell if you're evolved or not, and you have to go to that section. Or you can go to the unranked section, which means you can go and face evolved people, which he does later, but that's not what I'm talking about anyway. So he's like, so what are you playing? And she's like, Hand of God is the versus mode. He's like, I've never played the versus mode. You want to play me? And she's like, oh yeah, if you win, you'd be my boyfriend, LOL. And he's like, okay, well, I've never played the versus mode, so give me a little bit of time to practice. He practices a tiny bit and then beats her, and she accused him of cheating. Like, because obviously she thinks that he's never played the Hand of God before. And so she's like, well, I'm like one of the best in the entire academy. There's no way that he beat me without cheating. And he was like, well, I didn't cheat. I mean, you want to check my comm link, which is what they use to like play the game. And she's like, I don't know how you cheat, you cheater. And he's like, well, how would I prove to you I'm not cheating? And she's like, get into Blackhawk Academy and face me on the official like comlink machines, because there's like official machines for that, because it's like a whole academy for like gifted people and like warframes and archery and all this stuff for war. It's a military academy essentially. So that's how he gets into Hand of God, like the versus mode a lot. And then he eventually, I don't remember, he changes his name in the game to my girlfriend is Ji Ren, and she doesn't remember him because this is like weeks after, and she just assumes that he didn't make it into the academy, or she would have found her and played her. Then that's what she assumed. And he just beats everyone. He like literally goes ham and beats everyone. And it's just some of the most fun that the story, like the early story is, right? Without having the big fight scenes and all this stuff. I just really like these two games. Like I really want games like this to like exist in real life, and we're on the cusp, man. Now, I mean, the future is far away, and we could have super cool like future video games and stuff like that in the future. We don't know, but I really like Hand of God. I like the idea of it, like like it's a rhythm game where you use both hands and all your fingers, and it's really cool, and I really think that's interesting. Like Yin and Yang Fist is a really fun like rock paper scissors substitute, because it's like just a more advanced rock paper scissors, except for there's only rock and scissors. There's no paper. It's just you get hit or you block. There's no other situation. It's really fun. And there's also like another thing that I remember from the early story that I've been rereading is like warframes. Warframes aren't very touched on now in the story, because at this point Hansen is, I'm pretty sure he's a demigod, or he's a god actually. So like, well, he's not like a god, but he's like at that point where I'm not going to go into that. Anyways, he's like a demigod. So right now, even if he were to wear a warframe, it'd be actually worse than wearing his like what is it? You get like, you can manifest your skills into Geno armor, I believe it's what it's called, but I'm not gonna talk about that. But like, if he were to fight a person that uses a warframe, which is like a military weapon, to like, to fight the Shura, which we talked about before, the horned people that have like the mask on their face and they're like hate humans and all that. He could probably fight them hand to hand easy, like destroy them like physically. He's too fast, too strong, that kind of thing. So we don't see these like games anymore. And I wanted to talk about that because it's one of my favorite parts of the whole story that's just gone. And it's not bad that it's gone, right? It wouldn't make sense for him to be doing that now, right? Like if you were to go into like the Surpasser section as a Surpasser, he's already way better than them because Supergene. He wasn't technically the first person to consume super genes, but he was the first person known for super genes, and he was also like the first person to max out on every single genopoint in all of the sanctuaries. So yeah, he's very powerful. So like that's just all you need to know. And that's going to be the end of this video. I just wanted to get my viewers, man, they got me reading stuff. I'm reading Gregor the Overlander, just letting you know that's going to be my next review is Gregor the Overlander. It's going to be not tomorrow, but the next day, and you know, we'll see. Because right now I'm reading it and it's all right. You know, it's not bad. I haven't been sucked in quite yet, but you know, it's only been a few chapters, so I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But I just had to read Supergene, a little bit of Supergene again. You know, just to get my juices flowing, get my excitement for reading, you know, because sometimes you hit one of those little roadblocks where it's like, I read most of the stuff that I like, and, you know, maybe I'll find new stuff that I like, but maybe I won't, maybe I'll just do something else. Like, I've been playing Pokemon a lot, I've been doing a Nuzlocke, by God, it's hard, but it's fine, you know, it's fine. Yeah, that's about it. I've done everything I normally do, so if you like this content, please like it, leave a comment because I respond to them, as you know already. And if you don't like my content, leave a dislike and leave a comment. Let me know what I'm doing wrong and I will try to do better. That's my whole goal. I just want people to enjoy my content. And if you like it, let me know. Let me know what your favorite book is, what your favorite arc is in Supergene if you've read it. Just tell me what you like, because I would also like to give it a shot. Like, I read Homeless Millionaire, even though it wasn't my thing, I still read it because other people wanted me to read it. I will give your book a chance. Just give me some time. I'm pretty slow. I'm not the fastest reader in the world, but if I get sucked into a story that I really like, I can binge and be done very quickly. So just, if you think I would like it, let me know. I'm very into like shonen type stuff, power stuff. What is it called? Power fantasies, where you just become super strong in a period of time. Obviously, I don't like people that are super strong all the time. Like One Punch Man's okay because the story isn't about him being strong. It's the fact that he's too strong and that he has to deal with like getting exactly what you wish for, which is not for this. Anyways, that's it. Have a great day. Yeah.